Um, Welcome to our Unplugged Live. I'm just waiting for Sergio and Gabriel to join me, and we're going to start. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening,
How are
everyone.
you? Doing good?
Everything's fine
Yeah,
here. Had
yeah,
a great week.
Yeah,
Feeling
we are
energized for the
just
new week.
checking, sound
yeah.
checking.
Welcome, guys. Welcome to another Unplugged Live. And thank you everybody for watching. I'm Leonel Rodrigues from Desirable Portugal Tours. I'm based near Lisbon. With me tonight, Sergio Costa, Portugal EV Tours, based near Porto, and Gabriel Lima from GL Tours in Albufeira in the Algarve. So, tonight we're going to launch a topic, okay? And we want to talk a little bit about budgeting your journey, budgeting your trip. Of course, the three of us, we are tour guides. We have, different areas to cover in the country. We have, similar approaches to the way of touring, but each one with its personal touch. And one of the important things in our activity, of course, has to do with the transportation costs, with vehicles, with everything that involves this activity to tour around. In my case, I just added something brand new and kind of exclusive, unique to the fleet. And of course, this costs money. This affects our budgets, and this needs to be very well taken care or taken in attention in our I would say spreadsheets, okay, in our annual budget. And I understand that a lot of people, when they travel, they budget their trips, okay, and they calculate a lot of costs. So what I want to talk a little bit tonight, okay, it's exactly, let me just, someone is getting some notifications over there. Well, what I want to talk tonight, it's a bit about how to calculate these things or how to compare what is good or what is not so good in your budget, okay? And I see an increasing trend for people to rent vehicles. Of course, everybody wants to have their freedom. Everybody wants to drive around. In fact, it's fairly easy to drive in Portugal. It's fairly we have some good highways. The city centers and historical areas are not so not so easy to tackle. But in general, to move in between cities, it's very easy. And in one of the things I've been doing, I've been touring a lot in between Lisbon and Porto, what we normally call a transfer tour, with some stops on the way. And of course, we need always to take in consideration what it takes, the time it takes, the costs it has, but also, the pros and cons of this. And I browsed a little bit to get some information. Okay, unfortunately, I cannot display this on the here on the camera, but I browsed a little bit here, and I did some checks about a few options and about a few choices. Okay, and it can be totally different from the time of the year you're traveling, okay? And in between low season and high season, renting a car can have a ratio of like 5, 6, 7 times more in your budget. So if people come to Portugal and want to move around and they think, okay, we're going to rent a car that is cheaper, think again, okay? It will depend a lot on the time of the year you are traveling. And sometimes you will have other options that will be, way better or more affordable or budget friendly for you. And I'm going to take here a few examples. I browsed one of the major car rental companies, okay, with a orange and black logo. And pretty much I searched for mid-March, okay? We cannot say it's very slow season. It's already kind of, well, approaching the mid-season. It's the beginning of the tour season. And I checked the cost of, well, I don't know if everybody's aware or not, but Renault Megane sports tour, it's a station wagon. And to pick it up in Lisbon and drop it off in Porto, okay, and this is important, drop off in different locations makes a difference, okay, they quoted me roughly 90 euros a day for this car, but with a catch. If you want to add full insurance, okay, this car would cost you 135 euros for one day. And that one day would be picking up the car in Lisbon in the morning, early in the morning, dropping off the car at Porto in the evening, okay? And airport to airport to be the most convenient rental stations. To have this, I could say bigger time frame or longer schedule of opening hours, so you can start earlier and you finish your journey later. Now consider this car from Lisbon to Porto in tolls now costs you roughly 25 point something euros, okay? The tolls went up in the beginning of the year. In fuel costs, you will need to add, I would say, well, 45 euros. You need to pay some parking if you're going to visit a few places, okay? Well, let's consider 5 or 6 euros for parking. And if you miss the parking spot, you can get very easy parking fine, okay? And that is something that is happening a lot to a lot of people in certain areas because they see a lot of cars parked over there and they think, oh, there's no problem to park over here. When they get to the windshield, okay, they have a ticket, okay? So adding all this and making here some quick math, just, well, using a vehicle from A to B, okay, costed you roughly 250 euros one day in low season, okay? And you needed to figure out where to go. The driver won't be seeing much because he's paying attention to the roads. And probably, well, you end up stressing out a little bit here and there because you didn't know so well the places. And what were originally the plans ended up, well, not working so well, in fact. And always, well, being careful where to leave the car. This kind of car, I consider it for 4 passengers and for like 3 big suitcases or 2 big suitcases and 2 carry-ons, not much more than that, okay? It's not such a big a trunk, but, well, 4 passengers traveling considerably light, okay? This vehicle in this low season, I would say, would cost, well, roughly 250 euros. Now, let's make here another exercise, and let's go for the same vehicle, July 15, okay? This is peak season. Let me just, sorry, it went here to another frame. This vehicle in July 15, okay, for one day, for the same thing, would cost base rate 202 euros per day, okay? And with the extra full coverage insurance, 250 euros per day. Add the fuel, add the tolls, add the well, all the other costs, and you end up easily reaching not too far from 400 euros for a day just to use a car where you need to drive, where you need to figure out what to do and so on. So, long story short, of course, well, a transfer, a tour, whatever, okay, there will be someone working, there will be a tour guide, there will be a lot of things, but sometimes the difference isn't so big. Okay, and I feel that sometimes people don't consider, well, all the options or don't put everything in consideration because the peace of mind of having someone knowledgeable, having someone who knows the nooks and crannies, the ins and outs of certain places, okay, that is in fact priceless and will be very, very helpful. But now, the surprise. Let's make an exercise, okay, with a van. Let's make an exercise with, well, I would say for 6 passengers. I wouldn't say, well, it might fit 7, okay? But let's make the exercise for 6 passengers in here in July, Okay, I'm not considering so much the low season, although the low season it's not easy as well. Well, a van on the same company, and I'm talking not a luxury van, okay, a Renault Traffic. They quoted me 674 euros 1 day, one way. Okay, added insurance. This van costs 747 euros one way for 1 day. But this has a catch. It's class 2 on the highways. So instead of the 25 euros, it pays 50. And the fuel consumption of a van like this one way, okay, will be easily 60, 70, 80 euros. And I had one of these, curiously, well, last year I bought 3 of these, so I drove one around doing some tours. So the fuel consumption, it's not the most efficient, okay? So a van for 1 day to go from Lisbon to Porto, to take six people, 7 with luggage, okay, would cost 900 euros. So is this, a good deal? I don't think so. But then we have another catch. Imagine that you don't drive manual, you need to drive automatic. Well, the Mercedes, okay, the Mercedes would cost roughly 900 euros 1 day, just the rental, okay, of a Mercedes van, because one way, and you need to book them like 6, 7, 8 months ahead because they get fully booked. So my point is, well, in low season, yes, the rentals are very affordable. In the high season, probably not the best option, because in fact we are touching another thing. There will be a lot more traffic on the roads. There will be a lot of people on the road, and things do happen, unfortunately. So it's always something that people really need to take in consideration before renting a car. Okay, for the high season, it might be costly and very stressful. And sometimes, there are other options around that might be a little bit more affordable, or at least bring you a lot more of peace of mind, or stress-free options in the business. Okay, and this was just a quick search. I know that there's a lot of providers in the market, but as someone who's been renting vehicles for different reasons during the last few years, I see these prices not so much out of range for what is practiced in the market. There's low cost options. There are other possibilities. But in fact, this is where I wanted to go. And in fact, I have the prints over here. So if anyone wants, I can share them later. So I took a lot of print screens with all of this information. So this is just one point, okay? Renting a car, always budget the things quite well, because depending on the season, it might be way more expensive than several options more comfortable in the market. Well, I monopolized a little bit of our time. I'm going to throw the ball to Sergio. Okay, you are also the guy from the spreadsheet. The three of us, we are okay.
Right.
What can you bring us to our topic today?
Good evening, everyone. So, Lionel, you made a very good introduction to car rentals, and sometimes, I know that it feels like we're trying to push the transfer booking, transfer and whatnot agenda with us, etc. But in reality, these are things that sometimes people who don't know how to properly use a spreadsheet and to budget everything correctly might lead people into the wrong impression that sometimes people are maybe undercharging, overcharging, what's fair, what's not fair for a transfer, for a tour, etc. And so I'm going to give you the perspective from you gave the perspective from the rental car companies. I'm going to give the people the perspective of tours, like that's what I do mostly. And so I've actually prepared over here a bit of a spreadsheet, because most of the time people only look at things like variable costs. I'm doing a tour to the Douro Valley, and most of the time people only think, okay, so how much did this first tasting cost? How much did the second tasting cost? How much did the lunch cost? How much did the cruise cost? And so they arrive to a magical number and feel that, okay, so I'm probably able to fit in an additional 20-25% more on top of that to pay for the guide, for the vehicle and whatnot. But the thing is, there are huge disparities between different tours. It's completely different to purchase a bus that costs something like 200,000 euros that sits 60, 70 persons inside, where the cost is more diluted per seat, versus buying a car, a very high-end car like my case, a Tesla Model X that costs half of the bus, but instead of sitting 60 or 70, it only sits 5 persons. Well, 6 if you include myself. And so these are different things, more high-end. So my goal, and as you said, we have different philosophies, but at the same time, we share a common goal, which is our passion of showing Portugal in a different way. But the way that we chose to do that is slightly different. I aimed a little bit more towards the higher end and a more niche experience, something a little bit more boutique, and also something a little bit more sustainable from the get-go. And so you have to factor in things like, okay, so how much did the car cost? How much are you paying monthly? How much do you have to put at the end of the day for a tour that goes towards the car payment? How much is the car insurance? Because insuring a car that is worth over 6 digits, it's different from insuring a Renault Clio, for example. And there are people over here that are doing tours with Renault Clios and whatnot, that the experience is going to be completely different. We've talked a lot about insurance. We've talked about the car insurance, that is the primary one, but there's also activity insurance. So tour operator insurance, travel agency insurance that we also pay. Then there's also the salary we have to pay ourselves, obviously, because even though we love what we do, at the end of the day, we still have bills to pay. And then there's other things like, for example, accountant, etc., that are part of our fixed costs. So in the salary, you can also break it down in things like what we earn ourselves, how much we put towards social security, etc. All of that has to be factored in. And then there's these variable costs that are per person, the tastings, the cruise, the lunch, and then variable costs according to the tour that regardless of if the car goes up with 1 person or with 5 persons, the cost is going to be the same. We're talking things like tolls, like tires, car depreciation, wear and tear, things like that. And so you have to factor in all of these things. It's not an easy math to do, but I put the numbers on the spreadsheet recently, and I reached oh, and by the way, I'm forgetting an important bit. We're a business, so we also need to add a profit margin on top of that. I think it's fair. And so the conclusion that I reached after putting all these numbers on the spreadsheet is, well, I'm actually undercharging a little bit for my tours. Not by much, but I'm actually undercharging a little bit. And so when people say that it's expensive, they have to factor in everything. And when they say that, well, I can find for cheaper on Viator and whatnot, well, I think that they're being a little bit dishonest, because you have to compare apples to apples. You're going to compare the comfort of a Tesla Model X with the comfort of a Renault Clio or an Opel Corsa or something like that. That's a little bit dishonest right there. Are you going to pay more to a guy that has some certifications, that's studied, or a guy that just has a car and is just driving around and hey, I heard that it's something like this, dropped you off there. Now I'll meet you back here in an hour or two, so have fun. It's a little bit different. So quality of service, it's also a very important thing. And unfortunately, some of these guys, unfortunately, they are not paying the required insurance, which allows them to undercut the prices that legal operators are practicing, which again is another dishonest comparison. And then, well, most of the time, if you go on Viator, if you go on Get Your Guide and all of those platforms, well, chances are that the first listings over there are going to be group tours, not private or semi-private tours. So there's also that. Compare apples to apples. So if you have a Tesla Model X, try to find someone who is doing a tour in a Tesla Model X as well, or in a very similar vehicle like a Mercedes EQS, or something that is in the same price range. And compare within the same quality of service. Don't compare just based on price, because it's very, very misleading. And on top of that, well, if you can go on a tour to the Douro Valley through Viator and whatnot, sure, you can probably do that. If you want to be in a van with, I don't know, 15 on average other persons, that's the smallest, that's what we call the mini buses up there. How much, let's say, one-on-one time are you going to have with the guide? And the guide that is over there often is a plethora of good information, valuable information. Well, let's say it's a 10-hour tour. He has to split his attention by 15 persons. You're only gonna get, at best, 40 minutes out of the guy. That's it, because he has to go through the other persons that are part of the tour. So yeah, it's those are the what I call the intangible value of booking a tour. And then, well, I actually have something over here prepared, because I'm gonna do this live. Screw it. And let me flip the camera around for you guys to see it a little bit better. A lot of people are now using AI tools, and of all the ones that I've tried so far, I've tried ChatGPT, I've tried Claude AI, I tried Gemini. Meta is not available. Well, Meta, I think it's Gemini, but so far, the best one that I found, the most reliable one that I found, is Grok. So X, former Twitter AI. And so I just asked over here, uh, what should I do, a private tour, because we have to compare apples to apples. What should a private Douro Valley tour? And I'm not concerned about mistakes or whatnot over here, because the guy is very smart. He understands me.
Very fast.
Done in a Tesla Model X. This is important because we have to compare apple to apples. How much should it cost? What should a private cost? And then I'm gonna give my example. It should include 2 wineries, a farm-to-table lunch, and a 1-hour boat cruise. So here we go. Searching, searching. Well, a private Douro Valley tour in a Tesla Model X that includes visit to 2 wineries, a farm-to-table lunch, and a 1-hour cruise can vary in cost based on several factors. I agree. Depending on the time of the year, the specific wineries visited, any additional services and customization. General cost tours. Tours in the valley that include 2 wine tastings, a cruise, typical range between 100 to 100 per person for group tours. And this is group tours. The Tesla Model X factor. The use of a Tesla Model X will likely increase the cost due to the vehicle's luxury and electric nature. This could add anywhere from 50 to 100 or more to the total cost, depending on the distance traveled and duration. Customization and exclusivity. Private tour allows for personalized experience, which might include exclusive wineries, tailored lunch menus, or extended visits. This can significantly influence the price, potentially increasing it by an additional 100 per person or more. So if we add this, let's say 150 plus 100 over here, so we're already in 300, 400, and then 500-ish over here with this. Let's say 2 persons. I forgot to include over here for 2 persons. Sorry, let me edit this quickly. For 2 persons. So I edited the prompt. And then the results, I think he's gonna say basically something very similar over here. But I'm just gonna go straight to the bottom. So estimated cost for a private tour in a Tesla Model X with all the specific activities, you might expect to pay anywhere from 400 to 600 or more for 2 persons, considering the luxury of the vehicle, customization, and the specific experiences like winery visits, a farm-to-table meal, and a boat cruise. So as we can see, I don't think that I'm actually overcharging. I think I'm right in the money with how much I'm charging. And sometimes when people say that it's too expensive, well, it's not that it's expensive. I mean, this is actually a fair amount. And well, from my personal opinion, it's actually a fair amount. Might be considered even might consider it even a little bit lower, because maybe I don't know what are the considerations that the AI is having right now. But what we've been seeing, and it's the beginning of the year, we've been getting emails from all of the providers, all of the partners that we use at the Douro Valley, just telling us that hey, we have new rates, etc., etc. So the price is going up by 1 or 2 euros here, by 5 or 10 euros there, and so these are things that that are also you also need to take into consideration. Can you do it yourself? Yes, you can. You want to rent the Model X? Well, it costs, I'm just looking over here for 1 day, 266 euros for 1 day. That's it. And it's in Lisbon. You have to pick it up in Lisbon. You have to bring it up to Porto. So that means that you need to add probably 2, maybe even 3 days. And if you want to drop off the car in pick up the car in Lisbon and drop it off in Porto, all of a sudden that cost increases to 350 euros for 1 day. That's it. So you're going to need at the very least 2 days if you are driving up to the valley and then doing the tour. And then don't forget that when we're budgeting these things, sometimes we take into consideration because we are partners of those places. They offer us some discounts that often are passed to the customer. You can expect, let's say that I'm spending in the 2 tastings, in the lunch, in the cruise, around 100 euros per person. You can expect to pay, if you're going yourself, 120 euros per person. Add another 20 to the on top of that. So the savings, if you want to DIY it, are starting to become less and less. And you have to drive. You need to have a designated driver. You need to find a car, etc., etc. It's a bit of a hassle. You know where you're going. Are you looking for off the beaten path recommendations? All of that plays a factor in the perception of the savings that you might have. You might end up saving some money at the end of the day, but the amount of money that you're going to save is going to be this. And if you spend just this little bit extra, the experience is not going to be here. It's going to be way up there. So this is a key importance. Sometimes people are saving money they are trying to save money by allocating their budget to the wrong things. And I'm sorry, but people say that they want the best hotels and they're only spending the night there, so they are not taking full advantage of the hotel. People say that okay, they're booking flights because they need to get here because there's no other way that they can get there, and sometimes they have to bite the bullet. So, but they want the best hotels, they want the best meals, the best restaurants, but then on the guides, they just, well, I'm actually looking for something cheaper. Well, I might be biased. Don't take my word for it. Once again, I'm a tour guide after all, but saving on the tour guides might not be your best in your best interest because we know a thing or two about the country, how the country runs. We know the secret places. This is something that we've been telling you all along for the last year since we've been running these lives, and you should prioritize these 3 things: the flights, the accommodation, and the experiences, because they're going to make the bulk of your trip. So be smart about it. Don't try to think that by saving 5 or 10 euros here and there, or especially by booking a less expensive tour, you're going to have a very similar experience. Sometimes it can make a world of difference, starting from the person that you get as your guide. So these are just my 2 cents. And again, I'm hogging the microphone over here, and we still need to let Gabriel speak a little bit. So
Oh no.
there you go, Gabriel. It's your turn now.
Yeah, yeah. No problem, man. You just share so many thoughts, and I agree with you. 99% of the times, you know. And it's been amazing because I was thinking about so many things you were saying, and it makes sense. But of course, like we are tour guides, so we are biased, but we are also persons. I'm a traveler too. Now I'm organizing 5 or 6 days in Paris, Euro Disney in September. And you know what I'm doing now? I'm trying to find a guide there. I'm trying to find the best deals too. And I'm not going to rent a car because when I go on vacation, I don't rent a car in some situations. So maybe in some places I would rent a car. Maybe one day I'm going to travel through the national parks in the US. Maybe I'm going to rent a car. I don't know. But sometimes I just try to think, okay, I'm going to spend 5 days. What I'm going to do there? I'm going to hire a car. I'm going to spend time with bureaucracies. I'm going to take the risk to get some scratches. Maybe some guy hit the car or whatever, something can happen. So maybe this time I'm just going to hire a tour guide, a transfer guide, and that's it. I don't rely so much on Uber. Taxis there could be very expensive. I remember once I had this experience in Milano, Italy. Jesus Christ, we arrived there later, you know, low-cost flights. We arrived there about 1 a.m. And the hotel, it was just 1 hour away from the bus terminal. But of course, with luggage, I told the girls, well, we don't know where we're gonna walk the street. I saw on Google Maps, but we didn't take the risk. So the guys, they charged 15 euros for 1 kilometer. Of course, it was too expensive. So on the way back, we didn't use a taxi. I mean, so um, um, I also use rent a car, but let's put this more or less in the middle. Um, I'm having now here some guests. I talked about them last week. They are enjoying the Algarve with their own car. Today they went to visit, I think, Sagres. So they went there. We've done a tour together a week ago, and now they booked me for Monday for a food tour. And I made a deal with them. Okay, so they already hired me for a tour. They have their own car, and they're gonna hire me. So then I've made a deal. So usually I charge for the food and the tour itself, and then I said, okay, I'm gonna, because you are my guest already, you gave some nice recommendations, so let's make a deal. So I'm just charged for my standard time, and they're gonna cover the food. But by the end of the day, of course, they're gonna ended up spending less because they just gonna pay for what they eat and not the whole budget for a meal. Because of course, as a guides, we have to cover. Imagine if I charge a low price and then someone comes and they hit like for people, then I'm gonna lose money, right? So so this is possible. You know, it's also possible to have this blend. You know, people, they can rent a car. It's really affordable, like you said, in winter. It's easy to drive, for instance, here in the Algarve in winter. Today, I parked my van very easily at the Ponta de Piedade, Algar Seco, Carvoeiro, Senhora da Rocha, Porches, Galé. Well, it's impossible to park by Galé Beach in summer. And I mean, in summer, no, between May and October. The same goes for Ponta de Piedade. It's really hard to park there if I don't arrive there before 9:30 or so. So all these things matters. So when people, they decide to rent a car because they think they're gonna save money, maybe in January or February this might happen, but they're gonna lose lots of the experience too, because no matter what we might think, and no matter so many tools we have now, Google Maps and the tips on Facebook, we're gonna lose something on the way because there's always so many things when people, they hire a guide. Today I had a tour with 4 lovely ladies from the US, and at some point we were talking, and one of the ladies, she told me, Gabriel, it's really about engaging. So the kind of experience we have when we hire someone local, this engagement, this exchange of ideas, I learn from them again, they learn from me. We've been talking about lots of stuff. So, two of these people, they live in Matosinhos in Porto. They already moved here. Some other people, they know so much about this, they know so much about that. So all this knowledge, all this experience we have, many times we just make a new friend. And I mean, we're not just ordinary friends. No, we are guides here. So when people they build a friendship with us in the future, maybe, okay, Gabriel, I'm going back to there. So we are always eager to help people, right? So there's lots of factors to consider when we think about pricing, budgeting, because price is different from value. And it really depends on what people they want. If people they just want, okay, some guys they come here to the Algarve, they just want to visit the Benagil cave, they want to take some photos at Ponta de Piedra, and that's it. Okay, they don't want to try seafood, or they don't want to know history. They are done with castles. So okay, it's fine. But most people, when they come to the Algarve or Lisbon or Douro Valley, they don't go there just for the wine, because they can go to a restaurant and they can order a good wine. No, they go for the experience. And it's the same here. So of course there's room for everyone, and all different kind of styles of different kind of options, they are valid. But we have to know first, we have to know what we want. Okay, so what I want, if I'm just doing this because I think I'm saving money, okay, let's use our Excel. Okay, let's put all the numbers here, because then by the end of the day, okay, we are not saving so much. Okay, we're gonna waste time, we're gonna feel stressed. I don't know if I can park here, or maybe I'm gonna get a ticket there. Maybe I'm gonna spend more money. I don't know if this restaurant is good or not. So there's so many things that by the end of the day, I mean, so when people they are on vacation, it's supposed to feel stress-free. It's supposed to feel joy, not when I work hard, right? When I go on vacation, I don't want to think about, okay, should I spend this? Should I? No, I just define a budget, and then I buy what I can buy, and that's it. But yeah, I understand people, they try to save as much as they can. Not everyone has a big budget, but we have to be careful because so many people, they also know how to deceive people. And when they see people who really don't care so much about value, say they just go just after price, you're gonna get the same quality of your mindset. If you just think about price, you're gonna get the cheap experiences too, and poor experiences. This happens so many times. People, they go to visit Lisbon, Porto, or Faro, and then they ended up staying in some, maybe a Airbnb or a hostel. They didn't see the best, or maybe I don't know, they sometimes they experience some miserable experiences, but it's not the place's fault. It's our own miserable choices and options. So yes, I think it's very important to acknowledge this. We are here to help. We are guides, but we just don't want to sell. And everyone can see that we on Facebook, so many times we help people, and it doesn't mean we're going to sell something. We just try to help people. And then it's funny because sometimes people, they don't trust us because they think we are just trying to rip them off. We are just trying to do some business. They don't like guides at all. And then they follow actually the people who are misleading them. It's unbelievable. But hey, this happens with every kind of industry, and we can't do much about it. We are honest guys. I mean, we are not perfect for sure. I think I can speak for in our behalf, but we try our best. So, and well, maybe that's why I'm booming now, and it's January. I have more tours now in January than in the past 9 years. So I think I'm doing something right, and basically that's it.
You just mentioned one thing, and it brought me to mind something that happens so much. People go to a restaurant and order too much food, okay? Because people are used to portions in certain areas, and they start ordering a lot of stuff. And what does the restaurant do? Oh, yeah, sure. Okay, they take notes of everything. And then when the food comes to the table, sorry, guys, this is what you ordered, okay? A lot of food is wasted, and I hate to waste food, okay? It just drives me crazy. And people order too much food because they don't know. And plenty of restaurants take advantage on them, and they end up paying a hugely expensive meal because they just didn't know. If there's a local with them, we'll tell them, sorry guys, don't order too much, or don't go that way because it's too much food. One of the things that I ask to my guests in general, okay, I don't know if you are big eaters or not, but if the portion says it's for two, it might serve easily three or in certain cases four
Yeah.
people, okay? The restaurants don't like
Mm.
that, of course, but well, it is what it is, okay? You're just gonna order too much food and then ending up paying a lot of money. And we know that certain restaurants in certain areas, what they just want is to accept orders. Okay, it's cash in the bank at the end of the day, no matter what. Okay, so that is just one of the little things. And easily imagine this: a meal for four. Okay, that could be like a 25 or 30 euros per person. Easily goes to 50 euros per person, because and
Yeah.
that is another thing that has been quite documented. Certain areas or certain places they come to recommend like the daily special without telling how much it costs, and then at the end the bill is there. Several times in Lisbon, in a specific street, it came on the news. Some restaurants doing that practice, but unfortunately, it's I've been seeing that a little bit throughout the country, in here or there. Okay, and it wouldn't be the first time that I needed to tell the guy, sorry, but you're not going to do that with me over here, because I know
Yeah.
I see what you're doing or see what you're trying to do. So yeah, in fact, just sometimes, okay, that little difference, that little thing, and while I was just talking, okay, probably, well, I just had saved like 100 euros to a family on a meal, okay, because of that.
Well,
It's
it's funny because
Mhm.
even today we were 5 people at Don Sebastião in Lagos, a very nice restaurant, and the sea bass it was quite big. Okay, so this is for 2 people. No, it was enough for 3 people. So one of the dishes didn't come, so actually
Mhm.
we saved money, and we ended up having a very nice
Exactly.
meal. Later, I'm gonna post the photos. So, but this happens because a guide is there, and then I said, no, this isn't enough for 3 people. Uh, the guys at the restaurant, they would bring 2 sea
Of
buses
course,
instead of
of
one for
course,
3 people because that's what they do.
you want to sell.
We are guides, we want to sell, but we don't want to push because we know if you don't have a good experience with us, you're not gonna give us good
The,
referrals,
the the
right?
problem is the restaurants. Okay, the majority of the restaurants, they face the customers like one time only. Okay, and they know that if they have a
Right.
lineup of people at the door, they just don't care. It's a one time only customer. Oh,
You know,
behind that one, there's 10 more waiting. Okay. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people on the business that way. But, well, not my cup of tea. So that's why we've been chatting here and, well, putting the finger where it hurts to show these realities that do happen, in fact.
well,
But well, a lot of people, in fact, in the market try to take their advantage. At the end, at the long term, okay. Well, we'll see what prevails. But
yeah.
well, at least at the end of the day, I truly believe that all of us, we go to sleep with our peace of
Oh
mind,
yeah.
and with the feeling that we did our best to accomplish our mission. Okay. Well,
Mhm.
I wanted just to have here a quick look to the comments, and I know that the time is just going fast, but time flies when we're having fun. Well, Vitor just left here a few comments. Well, thank you for that. In fact, well, I can't agree more with the comments. And well, from my side, I could even keep on talking here about a lot of numbers. Probably you could also keep with some other numbers, but well, we just left here our 2 cents. I'm gonna upload the video on YouTube later tonight, so for people, for the people to watch us later on as well. And well, I don't know if you have something else to add, Sergio, but from my side, well, I shared what I wanted to share, and
Yeah,
well,
I just want to say
I'm
two
done.
more
okay.
things, but yeah, the first one, Gabriel, you were talking about also. Uh, it's not, it can't be exactly called cheaping out or something like that, but you have the budget. You have the budget. If you have a set budget, and if you are not able to, or if you're not willing to go a little bit more over that budget to upgrade a little bit your experience and whatnot. So consider maybe reallocating some of the things in your budget. Try to think a little bit outside of the box and try to think of other ways, other alternatives, and even consider putting yourself first. Things like, why am I going to this place? Why am I taking this tour? Is this because it's something that I want to do? Or is it something that people have told me that I have to do? And if I don't do this, I haven't seen Portugal. Is this going to bring me joy? Is this going to bring me value? Do I have an emotional investment in doing this? And if it doesn't make you happy, well, maybe consider doing something that makes you happy, because after all, we are traveling to make ourselves happy, to learn a little bit more, and to enjoy ourselves a little bit at the end of the day. So that's it. It's often said that traveling is the only thing that we do that costs money, but actually makes us more rich. So
Exactly. I agree.
that's a thing to consider. And one of the things that I've been telling people is that money comes back, time doesn't. So it's another thing to consider. And then, well, when you're budgeting for things and, well, you think, now I'm gonna defend myself a little bit because I'm a tour guide, obviously. But if you want to cheap out on the tour guides, well, I'm sorry, but this is like going to a circus. If you're going to pay peanuts, you're gonna get monkeys. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So these are just my some of my final considerations for it, but I also would like to say something a little bit different, and I know you guys are thinking the same way as I am. Just want to give a huge hug to people in the US, particularly people from California right now, who are struggling a little bit with the forest fires over there. And I just want to say, you guys, that we're thinking about you, and our hearts go out to you. Who are struggling right now, because it's a country that has been through some very bad forest fires in the past several times over. We know how much it hurts. We know how much it feels, and so I want to
yeah.
say that we're thinking of you over there, and hopefully things will calm down soon enough. So
I was
that's it for
stuck
me.
in one of them in September, and yes, it's not something that
Oh
I would
yes.
want to repeat. Okay,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah,
terrifying.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
we know about the just keep strong, and that's it.
So, guys.
Okay, so from my end, guys, I'm done
Well,
too. Time to go to sleep because tomorrow I have to
yeah.
run
Well,
another tour
Yep.
me
very
too.
early in the morning.
So
And
I will be on the
me
road.
too.
Yeah. So
So, guys,
Bye
have a
bye.
great week,
thank you.
and
See you
see you
next
all
week.
next
See
week.
you
Bye.
next Monday. Okay. Bye bye.